Alright, so in this video I'll be showing you how to do this problem. It says 43 cities were researched to determine whether they had a professional sports team, a symphony, or a children's museum. Of these cities, 23 had a professional sports team, 24 had a symphony, 19 had children's museum, 14 had professional sports team and a symphony, 10 had a professional sports team and a children's museum, 12 had a symphony and a children's museum, and 6 had all three. So one of the things I teach is that when you fill these Venn diagrams out, you work inside out. So we want to start by putting in the 6 that had all three activities. And so there are 6 that are in all three circles. Now, next we work backwards. We had 12 with a symphony and a children's museum. That's these two circles here. So there's 12 in the overlap, because these are the ones, remember the word and, we treat as intersect. So it's what the two circles have in common, this circle here and this one here. And that's this region here. There's 12 in here, but we already have 6, which means there's only 6 here. So that's the common mistake students make. They'll put the 12 here, but there should be 12 total in the overlap. Some of them also have sports team, but there's 12 that have symphony and a museum. They have those two things. So then we have 10 that have a sports team and a children's museum. So let's see, sports and museum. So there's 10 in this overlap. That means there must be 4 here, because 4 plus 6 is 10. There's 14 that have a professional sports team and a symphony. So there's 14 in this overlap, which means this is 8, because 8 plus 6 is 14. And just do 14 minus 6 to get the 8. And then we go to the next point here. Again, going backwards, 19 had a children's museum. So in the whole circle for the museum, there's 19. Well, we already have 10 here and another 6, so that's 16. 19 minus 16, that means there's 3 out here. So there's 3 cities that only have a museum. But there's 19 total cities that had a children's museum. So there should be 19 total people or total cities in this whole circle. All right, 24 had a symphony. Well, we have 14 here and another 6. So that's 20. 20 from 24, that leaves 4 here. So if you add up all the numbers in this circle, you should get 24, and we do. Finally, there were 23 that had a professional sports team. So this is 10, and another 8 is 18. So 18 from 23, that would be 5. So there's one more region that we need to get a number for, and that's this region here. These are the people or the cities that didn't have any of these 3, a sports stadium, symphony, or a museum for children. So we'd want to add up all these numbers. So let's see. So we have 10 and 13, which is 23, and another 10, which is 33, plus this 3 is 36. Now there was 43 cities. So if you subtract, you get 7. So there's 7 here. All right. So now we're ready to answer these questions. How many of the cities surveyed had only a professional sports team? So that's all they have. That's these guys. Excuse me. So the answer is 5. The people in this region represent the cities that only had a sports team. Keyword here is only. How many of the cities surveyed had a professional sports team and a symphony? So we're going to have to intersect professional sports and symphony. That's this region here. So there's 14 in that, but not a children's museum. Well, that means we got to not include the museum part, so it would just be these 8, which is the answer here. How many of the cities surveyed had a professional sports team or a symphony? When we think of or, we think of union, and I always say basically combine the 2 circles. Oh, excuse me. So we're going to take everybody in the sports circle and everybody in the symphony circle, and we're going to combine those all together. Well, there's 9 and 14, so that's 23, and another 10 is 33. So that's where they're getting the 33 here. Basically just combining everything in these 2 circles. All right, how many of the cities surveyed had a professional sports team or symphony, but not a children's museum? So again, it would be the same region. Sports or symphony, we're going to union those together because of the or, but not a children's museum. So we got to take out all the children museum people. So 5 plus 8 is 13, plus another 4 is 17. And that's what they have here. How many of the cities surveyed had exactly 2 of the activities? Well, that would be these guys, and these guys. These guys are in the sports and symphony circle, and only in that. Here you have the ones that are in the sports and the museum circles. And then finally you have this one. So 4 plus 6 is 10, and another 8 is 18. So that's where they're getting the 18. All right, that's going to be it for this problem. So I think the most likely thing that happened is you filled out this incorrectly. So I would encourage you to try to do number 27 now that you've seen this one. I will send a video that also goes over 27, but it's going to be pretty much the same type of problem. All right, I'll stop right there.